There is no such thing as a free lunch. All these TV shows and ads that you see or read are usually promising big money or luxury prizes to one lucky contestant. Call now and you can win a beautiful house in Malibu. Or like and share this post and you can get your hands on the latest Lamborghini Aventador. Or if you manage to spend 6 nights at Hotel Zenith, you will win the grand prize of $1 million. Call 1-825-663-2284 right now. You could be the lucky winner. That's what the guy on the street said when he approached me. Dear sir, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, he shouted, tipping his bowler hat and raising his cane in the air. Imagine what you could do with all that money. You could have the life of your dreams. Oh, think of all the possibilities, he said, exulting, tapping his shoes on the concrete. Then he handed me the flyer. You seem like a brave man, sir. Maybe we'll see each other there tonight, he told me, pointing and winking at me, after which he took a bow. Whatever, man, I replied, taking the flyer and stuffing it in my pocket. On my way home, I stared at the flyer and fantasized about what I'd do with $1 million. It would certainly help my situation and improve my life in so many ways. I have spent all my life learning about new things, studying finance and business, only to get a 9-to-5 shitty job at a beat-up call center. I don't get a really good pay, but at least I can make it to the end of the month, you know. Although the thing I hate the most about that place is the constant movement, the phones ringing, and the operators hanging up. It's like a constant factor of stress, a persecutor that's always present and always annoying me. And my boss, oh my God, he's unbelievably stupid, and every so often I imagine myself smashing his face with a telephone receiver, shoving it down his throat while it's still ringing. Anyways, enough talking about myself, let's get back to it. The flyer even said that the competition will be live on television, broadcasted on a channel that was part of this new media distributing company, and if well received, they were planning on renewing it for another 2 seasons. I tossed it aside on the table, and then cooked myself some dinner and watched Netflix. It was roughly 10 p.m., and I was about to go to sleep when I saw that shiny, glittery flyer again. The writing was golden on a crimson background, and it screamed a scam, of course. My bank account only had about $350 left that month. Maybe even if I don't win the first place, maybe there's some prize for the second and third places. And so, I decided to give it a go and see what's going to happen. I dialed the number and listened to the robotic female voice on the other end of the line. Mr. Richardson, we've been expecting your call, but we thought you'd never do it. Are you ready to check into the Zenith Hotel for the chance to win $1 million? For yes, press 1. For no, press 2. How the hell do they know my name? I asked myself, panicking over the situation, pressing 1. The connection seemed to interrupt. Then another voice picked up the call. You know, I had faith in you from the moment you took that flyer, kind sir. You have the eyes of a winner, yes you do. You already look like a champion, so I can't wait to meet and greet you at the Zenith, he said in an old man's voice, raspy and compelling. He then said that a car will pick me from my house, and that I should be out in 5 minutes. I hesitated, of course, but with my desires to sleep already gone, I decided to go and just check it out and see what I'll find there. You know, just out of curiosity. So I hopped in the car with a driver who looked like he'd just killed a lot of people. I asked what's the thing with this hotel. He answered in a Russian accent. I don't know. Just sit back there and enjoy the ride. Blyat. I was thinking he's gonna pull out a gun or something. I mean, the dude was huge, like he had eaten 3 Arnolds in one meal. We then exited the city, took a right turn, and reached the destination where I saw what was indeed a hotel. I only counted 6 floors. It wasn't really big, but not small either. I took my bag out of the trunk and headed inside. In the foyer, there were already a bunch of people present and the same man from the street. He was standing behind the desk at the reception. Good evening and welcome to Hotel Zenith. Are you checking in, sir? If he recognized me, he clearly wasn't showing it. Yes, checking in for the competition for 6 nights, please, I replied, refraining myself from further comments. Okay, sir, you're in room 107, on that right corner side over there. Your luggage will be taken care of. I hope you enjoy your stay, and maybe you'll leave this place not only with $1 million, but also in one piece. Haha, he said, grinning, looking at me like he had the funniest moment of his life. Then he jumped out from behind the desk and shouted, his voice echoing through the corridors of the ground floor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to know each other a little better, shall we? My name is Mr. Tanaka. I am the clerk, the owner of the hotel, and the brilliant mind behind this competition that you've all signed in for. So before asking you if you're ready to face the difficult tasks ahead, let me read out loud all your names, ages, and occupations, after which I will tell you the rules of the competition and what you're allowed and not allowed to do while staying here with us. So without further ado, let's meet. Mr. Ken Rogers, 38, business analyst. Mrs. Sylvie Deschamps, 35, former military. Mr. Zed Truds, 41, university teacher. Mr. Dan Williams, 56, former pharma employee. Mrs. Elizabeth Warburg, 43, Walmart cashier. Mr. William, death of 1P3R Daniels, 19, hacker extraordinaire. Mr. Ben Richardson, 27, call center operator. Mr. Vance Jones, 47, unemployed. The rules are very simple. Quitting before the competition ends is strictly forbidden. Social media interactions are not allowed. After finishing the stages of the competition, you are to return to your room where you will rest for 8 hours, and then proceed to the next stage. If you hear knockings on your door, screams outside, a voice that says they can show you an easier way to beat the contest, do not exit the room and ignore everything. If you fail to comply, you will be disqualified and sent home. If 2 or more people reach the final stage of the competition, there will be a bonus round that will determine which contestant is fit to take the prize home. There are 6 floors to this hotel, and each stage takes place on a different one. When you finish the challenge, you must return to your room immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you good luck, and may the best contestant win. Oh, I almost forgot. Here, in the suitcase, I have the grand prize, which I'll give to the winner at the end of the competition. When he finally finished speaking, he opened his briefcase to show the $100 bills in pristine condition. We were already looking at each other like we were the greatest enemies in history. Soon after that, the weird-looking dude Vance pulled out a gun and pointed it to Mr. Tanaka. All right, old-timer. Hand that shit over. I'm leaving this dump of a hotel. Come on, hurry the fuck up. Push it over here, you old fuck, he said, angered and shooting one bullet at Tanaka's feet. Ah, why did you do that? This marble was new, Mr. Johnson. You shouldn't have done that, Tanaka replied, and he went so fast behind Vance's back that we didn't even see him. He pulled out a sword from his cane and slashed the guy, decapitating him first, cutting both his arms. Then he took a final swing of the sword to separate the torso from the legs. Mr. Tanaka whistles. Mr. Achida and Mr. Senwu, please clean up this mess. You know it makes me sick when I see dismembered people. He ordered to 2 people who appeared out of nowhere. Do with him what you must, he added. Ugh, I ruined my suit. What a shame. Now, settle down, everyone. There's no need to be scared. I might add this to the list of rules. Attempted murder will not be tolerated. How do you young folks say will? Is it lol? He said, taking a handkerchief out of his inside pocket to wipe the blood beads from his face. Now, if everyone can go to their rooms, that would be great. After that, I will lock each and every one of you inside the room, and you must find a key hidden there to get out and proceed to the first challenge on the first floor, all right? He added, while straightening out his jacket. I'm in my room right now, scared shitless and completely afraid of what will happen next. I just saw a crazy guy murdering another crazy guy. They locked the door behind me, and I can tell you this is your standard hotel room. A closet, a coffee table, a desk, and the TV hanging on the wall. The bathroom's pretty normal. How am I supposed to find my way out of here? Nothing under and inside the desk. Let me check the closet. Oh my God. There's a human torso in the closet. I think it's the guy that Tanaka killed. except his skin is sewn in a Y. I feel like puking right now. Don't tell me he put the key in there and I have to open it. I felt my sense of humanity slowly leaving my body. I have seen a man killed and mutilated right in front of me, and I didn't even blink or feel any slight trace of sadness or disgust. I just stood there, motionless, and watched him being torn apart by the owner of the hotel. Now I'm in my room, lying in bed and watching the ceiling above and asking myself if there's something wrong with me. I know now that I will not be leaving this hotel unless I'm dead or I win the competition. So after thinking about it for over an hour, I decided to rip the threads that were keeping the skin of the torso together and see if the key was inside. As I heard the sounds of the internal organs squelching and my hands squishing some of them, I felt nauseous and instantly threw up. My shirt was soaking wet and covered in blood, but still, I didn't find the key. I took a break and threw up again, and, while breathing heavily and sweating at the same time, I decided to search in the last place I could find the key inside the heart. I ripped the heart open, and in it was the key and one little note with the following message. Please take the elevator to the first floor. You have exactly 30 minutes to get back to the room. If you meet the guardian of the first floor, it's kill or be killed. Good luck. Well, shit. I was thinking that this was it. I'm gonna get out of this hotel in a body bag and get thrown into a river, or discarded in a dumpster, or buried in a place where no one will ever find me. I wondered what the hell the guardian of the floor was. I don't believe in the supernatural, but this place had some sort of eerie aura that gave you the willies, you know. Kill or be killed. That means I needed some sort of weapon to defend myself. There was nothing in the room I could have used. But then I saw a cup which I broke into several pieces, and I stuffed the biggest one inside my pocket. I also had the belt of my pants which I could have used for choking anyone if push came to shove. Then I remembered that I accidentally pocketed the pen I used to sign the papers when I checked in, so I wasn't going to battle that guardian, or whatever it was, bare-handed. I took the key and placed it inside the lock. But then I heard a knock. Then a frenzy of knocking started. Hiya sport, wanna get out of here? I know a guy on the 3rd floor who can get you to win the prize faster. Huh, whatcha say, wanna get $1 million quick? I bet you do. Come on, what do you say? Open up and let's go. I ain't gonna hurt ya, I promise. The fragile voice said from behind the door. Go away, man. I'm not supposed to open the door. I'll be fine. Try next door, maybe they wanna go, I said, trying to get him off my shit. Then he just left and didn't say anything. He knocked on the next door, and I heard a man opening up, and he started screaming. Get off of me, you're killing me. Oh God. His screams died down into a gurgling as he choked on his blood. In the silence that followed, I heard Tanaka in the distance. Settle down, boy, you got fed good. He was a fat one, wasn't he? The man that had knocked on my door began slurping on something. I didn't want to imagine what could make that kind of sound. I turned the key and went to the elevator. I walked through the ivory marbled hall, following arrows that pointed to the elevator, on top of which a flashy light read, "Here is where your adventure begins." I pressed the button to call the elevator, and then I heard a ding, and the doors opened to reveal a hunchbacked woman sitting on a small chair. I'm the elevator keeper. My name is Dimitra, and I want you to answer me a riddle before we go to the first floor. Keep in mind that you only have one chance, and if you get it wrong, your time for getting the challenge completed will reduce to 15 minutes. You have to be a superhuman to beat the demented harlequin guarding the first floor. Let me tell you that. So answer me this. And they salt it and ferment it inside a stump wrapped in 100 clothes, the woman said. Her hands were shaking and her voice was trembling. Boom. That's a simple one. The answer is cabbage, and the final product is called sauerkraut, I answered, trusting myself 100%. Very good, very good, she said, grinning, her grin revealing rotted yellowed teeth that looked ancient. The elevator started ascending, but it was moving slow. The woman didn't say a single word after that, and I was under the impression the distance between floors was bigger than what I have seen outside the hotel. We finally arrived on the first floor. The doors opened, and this floor was completely different from the ground floor. The walls were covered in purple and orange checkered cloth, and there were 7 doors, 3 on the left side of the corridor, and 4 on the right side, each one with purple and orange lights flickering above. At the end of the hallway was the exit door with a timer above. The countdown started, and I had to move quickly, even if I didn't know what I had to do. I was starting to feel like I was in one of those escape rooms, with the major difference that here, if I don't manage to complete the challenge, I will be dead as disco. I opened the first door, and inside there was only a chair between the 4 walls. That was it. I proceeded to open the second door to find another chair with a note on it simply saying, "Hi." Behind door number 3, there was a mask lying on the chair with a note attached saying, "Put it on." Door number 4 had a gun with a single bullet inside, and the note said, "Do it. Or else." I opened door number 5 only to find a tape recorder. I pressed play and carnival music started playing throughout the corridor. Door number 6 creaked a bit when I opened it, and there was a note with bloodstains on it saying, "Goodbye, you fuck." And then I heard door number 7 opening. Before I even turned, something jumped me trying to bite me. I freed myself from its grip only to turn around and see a harlequin grinning at me, blood dripping from its ugly razor-sharp teeth. He said, "Hi, now you die." Then he tried to attack me again. I avoided him, stepping aside, while he started laughing uncontrollably. He was dressed in a checkered purple and orange costume, his face painted white with sprayed blood on it. He started laughing again while coming towards me. I avoided him, but he managed to scratch my left cheek with his metallic claws. "Die, die, die, you fuck," he was constantly repeating as I was getting fatigued. He was not big or strong, so I decided to save the bullet. Maybe I'll use it later. The timer said 3:25 minutes left. Shit, I had to hurry. He then came towards me again, and I punched him in the face and grabbed him by the neck, trying to choke him. He scratched me again, this time on my belly, and blood started coming out. He was laughing like crazy, like a demented harlequin. I briefly loosened my grip, but got it back, and as he seemed to suffocate, I pulled out the pen from my blazer, and I stabbed him in his left eye. He fell to the ground, crying and laughing and screaming all together. He fell to the ground, and I ran to the exit. In the upper part of the ceiling, I saw a camera zooming in on me. The music stopped, and Tanaka's voice filled the hallway. "The other eye too, please. Hurry up," he said with genuine satisfaction in his voice, like he was pleased with what he'd witnessed. A true sadistic motherfucker. I ran back and took the pen from his left eye and stabbed him in his right one, afraid that the timer would run out when I heard the exit door unlocking behind me. The timer stopped at 07. If I were 7 seconds late, I'd have been dead. Behind the final door, I saw another chair with an envelope on it. I opened it, and it said, "Congratulations on completing your first challenge. Now please head back to your room for food and rest. The next challenge begins after your 8-hour sleep." I just killed a psychopath and became a murderer myself, and I'm fine with it. After all, there are so many things you can buy with $1,000. You see, money rules the world, no matter what form or shape it comes in, if it's gold, coins, or banknotes. It always was like this, and it always will be like this. Some people steal it and become rich. Some people work hard and get to be successful entrepreneurs, business persons, CEOs of companies that worth billions of dollars. And then there are people like me who believed it must be just an idiotic game where a guy is asking you questions or making you go through stupid challenges. Then you'll be able to win $1 million and go back home safe and sound with your mind intact. How this shit will play out, I don't know. What I know for sure is that the grand prize is blood money. It is what it is, and I just can't quit now. I will not quit now. I need it so I can leave that god-awful job and get away from all those fucking stupid and boring people. But as the saying goes, all that glitters is not gold, so I must be extremely cautious, keep my eyes opened and my ears peeled. And the last important aspect of the matter is that I should follow Tanaka's fucking rules. just to be sure I can have a minor chance of staying alive and in the competition. And maybe if I'm skilled or lucky enough, I'll win that cursed briefcase filled with cash. I'm in my room right now, scared and still bleeding from the cuts the Harlequin decorated my skin with. It's a good thing that I made it out alive after a fierce fight with that man, or was it not a man? I just don't know anything anymore. This place seems real, and not real at the same time, and the people here are not simply people, I believe. Am I in hell? I'm going to sleep now. I hear knockings on the door in the middle of the night. I wake up, and on the other side, a child is crying, "Help me, I can't find my mommy. Please, mister. I'm cold and afraid. I want my mommy," she says. I check the time, and it's 3:33 a.m. I can't open the door. It's against the rules. Go away, you're not real, or if you are, then you're just trying to get me to break the rules, so I can get killed. I reply, sleepy and annoyed, while feeling a cold wind entering the room. As I start seeing vapors coming out of my mouth, and the temperature suddenly drops, the door is violently banged on, with both hands and feet by whatever it is on the other side. Open the door, open the door, open the door. She kept on hitting the door, and I thought she's gonna break it down. If you don't open up right now, my friend Hammerhead will get you on the 4th floor, mister. I'll tell him to get you good. Open up. I know my mommy is hiding under your bed. My daddy always catches her under the bed, and he has a knife, she insisted, sounding very angry and dissatisfied with my reply. It suddenly stopped, and the temperature came back to normal. I guess I'm going back to bed now, and hopefully nothing will interfere with my sleep, as I need the rest and recovery for tomorrow morning. I wake up in the morning after my near 8-hour sleep, wondering what's happened with that little girl. Did I have a dream, or was she real? I don't understand this place. It seems like it's fucking with your head constantly, trying to get you to break the rules. The TV turns on by itself, and Tanaka appears. "Congratulations on completing your first challenge, Mr. Richardson." Talking about being on the edge, eh? Please don't eat too much for breakfast, take a shower, and head to the elevator for the next challenge. I hope your stomach is ready because you'll have one of the best lunches you've ever had in your life. It's my favorite, if you don't mind me saying, he says. Oh, and one more thing, he adds. I must inform you that Mr. Ken Rogers sadly broke the rules and has left the competition. There's only 5 of you left. I wish you the best of luck. He finishes his intervention as the TV shuts itself off. I get out of bed and try to take a shower, as best as I can. The wounds from the encounter with the Harlequin are still hurting, but I think I'll make it. I take a shower, grab a quick bite, and then change my clothes. I'll try updating you in real time as I move forward with hopefully completing the second challenge. I still have the shard from the broken cup. The pen, although let me rinse it a little, it's still stained with the Harlequin's blood after poking his devil eyes out, and the gun with 1 bullet inside. I get my blazer on and finally get my belt on my new pair of pants. I press my ear on the door and try to listen if there's any noise outside, and after approximately 2 minutes of not hearing anything that might disqualify me from the competition, or worse, get me killed, I decide to unlock the door. I go out of the room and head to the elevator and notice a new message above its doors saying, "Enjoy your lunch, Mr. Richardson." The elevator dings as the doors open, and this time there's no one inside, so I just push the button for the 2nd floor. But as opposed to last time, this time the elevator barely moves. The doors open up again quickly, and the scenery is completely changed. I'm still in the hotel, but the walls are covered in moss, and there's grass on the ground. I feel like they grew a forest inside the hotel. It all feels so real, but how can it be? The hallway seems very long, so I start walking as I see trees in the distance and smoke coming out from behind them. I still walk and walk, and then a green arrow appears, pointing forward. After 10 minutes, I start seeing the shape of a wooden hut and go towards it. The smoke is coming from its chimney, and as I enter, I see the fire running with a cauldron boiling over it. I then catch sight of a few strange drawings on the walls depicting devils dancing and eating a very big feast together with their leader, who's sitting in a throne made out of human bones. Then on the kitchen table, I see raw meatballs on a wooden plate, probably waiting to be cooked, green mushrooms, and some chopped leek. I must tell you it smells really good, and I'm starting to get hungry. I haven't had some meatballs in quite a long time. I then start hearing some noise coming from outside the shack, and an old woman's voice starts whistling, and then she starts singing. 1, 2, you'll love my stew. 3, 4, you'll ask for more. 5, 6, you'll lick your lips. 7, 8, you'll celebrate. 9, 10, you'll come again. I hear the door opening, and as I turn around, an old hunchbacked woman is standing before me. She blows some dust in my face and sends me to sleep. I wake up pinned to a chair at the eating table, but I can't move my body except my eyes. I see the woman stirring in the cauldron. Lunch is ready, Sonny. You'll love the meatballs, I'm sure of it. This is my special secret recipe. You won't find it anywhere in the world. The taste is so good and the texture is something else. But what makes it this special is the meat. I have a special kind of meat that I'm always using for this challenge. The only person that knows the secret is Mr. Tanaka, and he loves it so much that he is now using it for all his meat-based foods made in the Zenith's kitchen, she said, in what seemed to be an unending monologue. As I couldn't speak, I feel my jaw slowly unclenching, and the first words that come out of my mouth are, "I'm so hungry. Please give me something to eat," I say, hearing my stomach rumbling while I breathe the amazing smell that fills the room. She then gives me 1 serving of her stew, and as I feel my hands can move again, I start eating it. I feel like I'm in a sort of trance, that my hunger is not my own. I finish the plate and ask for another. "This is so good, can I have 1 more please?" I say. "Do you remember me, Sonny? I'm Demetra from the elevator. I hope you'll like this final serving because you must go back to your room. Mr. Tanaka says there's something big coming for all the participants," she asks me as she gives me another serving, her voice sounding like she's not one of the bad guys or gals. "Yes, I do," I reply. "You're the riddle woman from the elevator." "What's this place?" I ask her back. "This is my home inside the hotel. I created my world here, and I'm responsible for the second challenge." "Are you done?" she asks me. I can feel my legs now, and as I look in the plate, I see human eyeballs and ears, teeth, and fingers all mixed with the meatballs. I feel sick. I throw up. I start crying and yelling. "What's the matter, Mr. Richardson? Too much salt in the sauce?" she's asking me mockingly. I start running towards the door, tears flowing down my cheeks. As I look back, she starts laughing while sucking on an eyeball. "Do you want dessert? Or maybe some of this magnificent stew to go?" she asks me, with her green eyes glowing in the darkness of the forest. I reach the elevator and finally, I'm in my room again. I think that she cooked the remains of that guy next door to me, or what remained of him after he was eaten by whatever it was that ate him. That Ken Rogers guy. I feel sick to my stomach. All these people, or whatever they are just plain crazy and sadistic. I can't leave though. I must remain calm and strong. But what the hell will I eat? What will the next challenge bring me? What I must endure next for that fucking prize? What should have been a refreshing 8-hour sleep became a constant twisting and tossing and turning around in my bed, followed by me feeling sick and getting up and go to the bathroom to throw up. My mind was filled with the images of what I've last seen inside that stew that I ate, and these thoughts became themselves nauseous. I never thought I'd endure this much for what seems now pocket change. I mean, given the choice again, I would take my physical and mental health over the $1,000,000 any given day. For 7 hours, I felt sick to my stomach and mind, but I was able, finally, to catch 1 hour of sleep. 1 hour that seemed to be an eternity. Why? Let me elaborate a little. As soon as I drifted off to sleep, I felt myself leaving my body, exiting the room and going straight to the elevator. The hallway lights were now dimmed, and the arrows that pointed to the elevator weren't lit up. I pressed the button, and there was no message for me on top of the doors this time. I then heard a muffled ding, and the doors opened. The inside was pitch black darkness, and the only thing I was able to see were the lights on the buttons. I instinctively pressed 3, and the elevator started ascending, without the doors closing. I passed the first floor, and I saw the harlequin waving at me with blood coming out from its now missing eyes. Then I passed the second floor, and that witch Dimitra scared me when she almost came inside the elevator with me. "Want another serving, Benny?" she said, her crazy laughing sending shivers down my spine. I arrived on the third floor, and all I saw was a big red door with a golden handle in the distance. It looked like it was far away and very close to me at the same time. It was standing there idly in the vast darkness of the third floor. I stepped off from the elevator, except I was not walking on marble or hard concrete floor. I felt like I was stepping on clouds, but with every step, I heard a different kind of sound coming out. I started running towards the door, and the more I ran, the farther the door was. The more I slowed down, the closer the door was to me. I decided to walk very slowly, thinking I might get the door to me instead of me going to it. I finally made it, and then, out of the darkness, two statues erected, each pointing me to the door with their index finger. Their voices blended in some sort of low baritonal voice. "Go inside now, but be careful. All that glitters is not gold, and you must resist emotions old," they said while turning their heads towards me. What emotions? Love, hate, fear, courage? I thought to myself. I turned the handle of the door and entered inside a room that looked like a big event hall. The sort where rich people go to attend secret parties that you've probably read about online. There was classical music playing inside and people were chatting, their voices coming together as one. There was another big wooden door at the end of the room, which was bolted shut, so, naturally, I wondered what that was. When reaching it, I was approached by a masked waiter who asked me if I wanted a drink, which I politely refused because all of it didn't seem real. I mean, I only had human stew back on the second floor. I wouldn't want drinking human blood or something, you know. Something felt wrong with that door. It seemed like it hid something ugly behind, like all hell will break loose if it was to be opened. Was I the only one not wearing a mask? Or was I? I went to a big mirror that was placed on a wall to my right to see if I was still the same, because all of it seemed wrong, and to my utmost surprise, I was masked like the rest of the attendants at this grandiose masked ball. I was wearing out of nowhere a bottom mask, the sort they use in Venice, Italy, for their masked balls or parties. It seemed glued to my face. It didn't come off. Why didn't it come off? What was that? Was I dreaming? Was I in the depths of my mind? Dreams or nightmares? Love, hate, fear, courage, emotions old. Was I wearing the mask, or was mask wearing me? The finishing decorations on the marble walls were made of gold. The cutlery and platters were the same. Don't touch them, they're poisoned. Don't drink the champagne, it's poison. I remember thinking to myself, oh God. The door I came through disappeared. It wasn't there anymore. In its place, there was now a black double door. Two persons came and opened it, and at that point, the music stopped, and everyone watched some hooded figures wearing black robes coming from behind them, wearing masks. They seemed to be some sort of initiators of this masked ball. They were simply the red Oni mask, the orange yellow sun and moon mask, the green woman with snakes in her hair mask, the blue faceless mask, the indigo shattered glass mask, the violet skull mask, the white happiness mask, the black sadness mask, the red mask, which appeared to be their leader, started. "We are the Council of the Nine Masks, and we bid you welcome to the greatest masked ball in the world," he said, clapping, and while doing so, every one other person attending started choking and dying, and then being sucked into the marble floor. "Mr. Richardson, each of us will either ask you a question or ask you to do one thing. Depending on your answers and actions, you'll be able to open that wooden door over there and get back to your room. This is your third challenge, let it begin," the red mask said, gravely. I then realized that I was in fact on the third floor, even if it didn't seem so at first. When I first arrived and looked at the hotel, the third floor was the only one that had no lights on. It was just like it was never used. I understand why that was. It was because this floor was the contestants' mind, and they've chosen to fuck with us using these abominations, trying to make us insane and to make us quit, so that we get killed and eaten by whatever it was that has eaten Rogers and then turned to stew. Disgusting. I always had a strong mind, so I decided there and then, in the palace of my mind, that I will take up on all their fucking challenges and questions and tricks and whatever the hell else they had for me. I was ready. This was what they required of me. Red mask. Where do you think we are right now? What is this? My answer. We're on the 3rd floor, and this challenge takes place while I'm sleeping. This is not a dream, this is real. It just happens while I sleep, because that's what Mr. Tanaka thought it would be good. Orange-yellow mask. If you could have the sun or the moon, which one would you choose and why? My answer. I could only choose both. It's the natural cycle of the world. You can't have one without the other. It would break the order of things. Chaos would ensue and the world will end. Green mask. Have you ever heard of me and what I do to people that look at me? My answer, keeping my eyes closed upon hearing the snakes in her hair come to life. Yes, I did. You're the Gorgon or Medusa, and if I look at you, I'll turn to stone. I then heard her approaching me, snakes caressing my face. She then left, hisses filling the creeping silence of the room. The blue mask produced a serviette out of nowhere. Here's 5 million in cash and another million in gold. Take it and leave this place. I'm telling you it's no good. My answer. I don't break the rules. That's not real money or gold. I looked back at the serviette, and it turned to bugs and cockroaches and worms squirming in a trash bag, climbing over Blue Mask's arms and body, invading him. The indigo mask. You wake up early and see me in the sky, and you fear me until the day you die. I promise things that should not be. You take it fast, too blind to see. You take the easy way and sell your soul, but all that glitters is not gold. Who am I? My answer. Morning star Lucifer, the fallen angel. Satan, the violet mask. Finish this. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. My answer. And she's buying a stairway to heaven. This was easy. I know my Led Zeppelin. The black and white masks together. We get to ask you 2 questions. Be careful what you answer. You cannot have one without the other. They need each other to survive, and if you have one, you can beat the other one. My answer. There's no love without hate, and you must have the courage to kill your fear. I then heard the wooden door open, and as I turned around, the red mask has fallen, revealing Mr. Tanaka's face. I knew why I picked you. You're not only smart and brave, but you resist temptation so well. Fine, so be it. I must warn you that these final challenges will be absolute hell, and if 2 of you end up living after the final round, it will be one hell of a bonus round. Go through that door and remember the rules. Oh, and before you go, as a token of my appreciation, take this gold bar from me as a gift. He finished his speech, seemingly impressed with my performance at the greatest masked ball on earth. Thank you, but I'd rather not take it, I replied. Why not? He asked me, confused. All that glitters is not gold, I finished with a grin, heading back through the door. I woke up to the sound of the TV, where Tanaka announced that Mrs. Elizabeth Warburg died in her sleep, and that they found her full of bugs, cockroaches, and worms. Well, there's 4 of us to go. Wish me good luck. My head was buzzing after all that happened the night before. So I was almost killed by a crazy harlequin. I ate human stew. I attended a masked ball inside my head while sleeping, and I only slept 1 hour. One strange thing, though, that crossed my mind earlier was why did Tanaka say that there's only 5 of us left when there were still 6 people alive? Then on the last entry, I told you that there's 4 of us left because I didn't think about it and went along with what he said. The real number should be 5 people left alive, right? Jones was killed by Tanaka. Then Rogers was killed by, I don't know what, when he answered the door, and finally Warburg, probably killed in her version of the masked ball, because she took the money from the blue faceless mask. I haven't paid attention to this until now, but it kinda makes you wonder. I either think that they drugged one of them and turned them into that Harlequin guy, or that one of them works for Tanaka, and I'll face him or her later on. What do you think? Maybe you can help me with some ideas on this one. Anyways, back to the regular schedule. The end of the competition was drawing nearer, and I was wondering what will Tanaka come up with next, and how much more shit I must endure to win that $1,000,000. Then I remembered the little girl who said that if I don't open the door, she'll tell on me to her friend on the 4th floor, Hammerhead. I think it was the name. This hotel is filled with temptations and crazy things, and it can fuck up your mind, body, and soul. I think what I did best until now is the fact that I kind of fought off anything they've offered me, and that I had this strong will of living and winning this competition. You know, I want to go back home with my body intact and with the grand prize in my hands. Anyways, I left the room to start the next challenge, and I noticed the arrows pointing to the elevator were now freshly redecorated with the hotel's logo, a big Z inside an upside-down triangle. On top of the elevator door, the following message was displayed: "After the masked ball, the hammer will fall." I pondered a bit on the meaning of that, and I hoped that I won't be up to another crazy guy. But deep down I knew that will not be the case. I could only defend myself by fighting whatever I'll encounter. I still had the glass shard, the pen, the belt, and the single bullet gun, and I hope to God that I won't need them. The elevator dinged, the doors slid open, and I pressed the button for the 4th floor. As soon as I started ascending, a putrid smell of blood and dead things started to fill the air. The doors opened and the smell became unbearable, and I immediately vomited in the elevator. At that point, I was asking myself if I have anything left in my stomach, you know. It seems like every little fucking thing, every goddamn challenge is supposed to make you feel sick to your stomach and take your sanity away bit by bit. The view was horrendous. The metallic walls were decorated with hammers in all sizes and shapes known to mankind: sledgehammers, claw hammers, ball-peen hammers, and even some powerhouse hammers. They were all on display encased in some sort of plexiglass like trophies. The glass was stained with blood droplets, which seemed to be fresh, as it was lingering down on it. The whole room was made of metal, and on the floor there was a blood trail, as if a body was dragged out on it. I followed it, and soon after that I didn't know where I was anymore. I took so many turns, so many left and right turns, that I didn't even know how to get back. I soon felt I was lost in a maze of death, and that I will soon be hunted by whatever adversary may come my way. As I felt my heart starting to pound in my chest, and an immense pressure invading my head, I reached a metallic door. It had blood smeared on it and dripping down from the handle. I opened it, and inside hooks were dangling from the ceiling with rotting animal carcasses hanged on them. I could see carcasses of cows, horses, goats, ready to be portioned and cooked. I made my way through them, and at the end of this room, there was another door with an employee-only sign on it. I decided to slit it open, so I pushed it to the right side. This wasn't against the rules, right? And I saw dead people hanging from the ceiling in hooks, blood dripping on the floor, and some of them were hung head down, probably to drain the blood faster. There were bodies even on the floor, one resting on another, as if they were resting after the fight they've put up with their killer. What the fuck is going on here? Upon closer inspection, I saw that 2 of the dead guys are Zed Truds, and the pharma guy Dan Williams. Both were dead as disco, and they were probably killed by whatever it is that guards this floor. I heard the door behind me opening, and I quickly decided to hide between the cadavers lying on the floor, myself pretending to be dead. I had my gun ready in one hand and the pen in the other, and maybe later I'd be given the chance to put it through the skull of whoever was coming. I heard the entrance door opening, and then some clinks and clanks on the metal table at the far end of the room. Probably the weapons used for killing them. Then I heard him speak. "Right, you're all drained up. Little hell will love drinking your blood when I get back. You look so much better when you stay still, you know? Why do you cause all that fuss before you die? I don't know. Right, wonderful. Let me get you down from here and place the next lot on these shiny hooks," he said, his voice resembling that of an evil Gordon Ramsay. Shit, fuck. What the fuck am I gonna do? And who the fuck is little hell? I thought to myself, almost pissing my pants. I peeked a little from behind the 2 dead bodies I was hiding after, and I saw a large, approximately 6'5" tall guy, his shiny hair slicked back nicely. He then turned around, and I saw he had 1 glass eye, a large scar on his face, and he was wearing a black leather apron with hammers attached to his belt, encircling his waist. He then took the bodies down one by one and placed each other on a metal table, and I managed to see what he was doing. He was hammering whatever joints and articulations he could. Ankle, wrists, knees, elbows, and then he smashed a final blow in the center of the forehead. The sound was sickening as I heard the hammer dropping and the bones cracking. It made me feel like my own bones were made of rubber. He then turned towards me and started grabbing bodies to put them in the hooks. He was 2 bodies away from me, and it was there, and then that I decided to try and stab him in the temple with a pen and shoot him in the head with good. I never used a gun before in my life, so the probability of me missing was very, very high. I jumped when he was grabbing the body next to and shot first, but I only managed to hit him in the shoulder. "Why, you motherfucker, you're so fucking dead. You don't fucking mess with Hammerhead, don't you know that?" he yelled in pain. Fortunately, I was faster than him, and more important was the fact that the hammer he wanted to take out from his belt got stuck. I jumped over him and grabbed a hammer from the table quickly and hit him in the head, knocking him out cold. My heart was racing, so I decided the best thing to do was to finish him off for good. Maybe give him a taste of his own medicine, in the same way he killed those innocent folks. I turned him around and decided I should bash his wrists with the hammer so that he won't be able to use his hands. But before doing that, I decided to do something that I got very good at. I stabbed him in the eye with my pen so that he can't see me. He let out a huge scream and tried to find my throat before raising himself from the floor. He was blindly searching for me. "Where are you, you fucking son of a bitch?" he said. "I'll fucking kill ya," he added while walking around like a drunk man inside that human abattoir. "Right behind you," I added while hitting him in the side of his right knee. He let out a huge scream, kneeled, and then I did the same with his left one. "You like killing innocent people, you fucking piece of shit?" I said while pressing on the bullet wound. "I'd say to watch me in the eyes before I fucking kill you, but you can't do that now, can you? Stay still, you psycho, and let me take your fucking eye out. I want a souvenir from you. That'll teach you to kill innocent people," I finally added before swinging the hammer to his right temple. After I heard a popping sound, blood started coming out. The hammer got stuck in his skull, and I wasn't able to pull it out. The hunter became the hunted. The adrenaline rush was huge. I know you might think I'm a psycho myself, but I did what needed to be done to save my life. I then got out of the abattoir, but the corridors I came through changed, and the scenery wasn't the same. Instead of that cold metallic walls with hammers on them, they now were decorated with musical instruments placed on red velvet tapestry. Violins, guitars, flutes, cellos were displayed on the walls, but the blood was still there. I walked and walked, and I then arrived in front of a big wall on which a painting of Tanaka was hanging, his hands pointing to the left and right sides. A voice started out of nowhere. "Congratulations once again, Mr. Richardson. Now, as a token of my appreciation for your hard work, efforts, and dedication, I'll be giving you a choice. On your left is the way back to your room, where you'll be resting for the next 8 hours, as per agreement. On your right side, however, you'll be able to go straight to the next challenge, thus gaining a considerable advantage in the competition. I can give you my word of honor that there's no trick here this time. So, what's your choice going to be?" he added before the corridor was lit up with a powerful bright light to my right, and with a darkened bluish light to my left. Now, I've been standing here for the past 15 minutes, thinking of what should I do, and thinking of how many people are still in the competition. Is it 2 or 3 of us left? Should I take the left side or the right side? One thing I learned while staying at this hotel is that you shouldn't trust anyone, so I went back to my room to get the sleep I so much needed. After all, there were only 2 or 3 of us left, and I didn't know anything about the progress the others have made so far. How and why should I trust a voice telling me that I get to have an advantage over other participants? It didn't seem fair to the competition, and I didn't even know if it was Tanaka's voice or not. It all seemed too convenient to fall for. So anyways, I finally got to sleep a full 8 hours without any disturbances, interferences, or crazy people banging on my door. After I woke up, I had something to eat to get my energy levels back up, although the food had no meat in it because, shit happened while I was on the second floor. I went to the elevator, locked, loaded, and ready for my next challenge. And at that point, I felt that nothing could stop me. I went through so much since coming here that I now felt unstoppable, and with only 2 challenges left. I told myself that I won't be leaving this place in a body bag, but simply just with a briefcase full of money. Those pristine $100 bills. I've noticed that the arrows pointing to the elevator remained the same as last time. But the message hanging on top of the elevator's door stated, "The symphony speaks the truth, it will never lie. Just let it carry you, or else you'll die." The elevator door dinged, and I pressed the button for the 5th floor. As I was going up, I started hearing strange music in my head all of a sudden. I didn't know where it was coming from, but I can honestly swear that it was the most beautiful music I've ever heard in my entire life. Then, as the elevator doors slid open, it all stopped, and the view in front of me was, let's say, unusual. It seemed that the floor, walls, and ceiling were made out of human flesh, but with no skin attached. I saw muscle fibers, tissues, and even blood vessels that were somehow alive, like a person was trapped in those walls. Then eyes started watching me, blinking rapidly, following my every move as I was slowly going forward into the unknown. I was wondering what the challenge on this floor could be. I wasn't terrified necessarily by the fact that it looked like that, but because I felt that I was constantly watched and observed by some force that was planning how to kill me. The sense of dread and the terror that followed were unbearable. Faded violin music started playing throughout these flesh halls. The notes, the symphonies, and the melodies were slowly flooding my brain with all their enticing heavenly touch. Or was it a hellish touch? I started feeling sick and nauseous because stepping on human flesh was gross. Blood was jumping everywhere, and so I decided to run towards whatever I was running to. I then reached a red door that had a human face etched on it. It was gross and terrifying because it was just the left side of the face. Its mouth opened wide in horror like it wanted to scream. Its eye constantly twitching and moving in agony. As my sight went down to see the full image, I noticed its hand was broken into several spots, in a zigzag fashion, with the index finger pointed to the handle, as it was inviting me to go in. I stepped inside a concert hall where Debussy's Clair de Lune played in the speakers that hung all over its corners. The red velvet curtains were drawn, and I saw approximately 100 skeletons all looking to the stage as if they were waiting for the concert to start. The music shifted to Rachmaninoff's Isle of the Dead, and then the skeletons started turning to ash, leaving all the seats empty. I heard the door opening behind me, and I saw that hacker kid. He was pale as a ghost's ass, probably stricken with fear. He glanced at me, nodded his head, and took a seat somewhere 20 chairs to my left. Then, after a while, I heard the announcement that came through the speakers. This evening's lovely, hellish, and heavenly concert will begin in 5 minutes. Please take your seats and turn off your mobile devices. Enjoy the show. The door creaked open again, and the military lady came in running and panting. Probably she didn't want to be late for the show. She passed me, not even noticing that I was there. She was shaking in fear, sweat dripping down from her hands and neck. The final announcement was repeated. The lights were dimmed, and the curtains drawn to the sides, revealing a skinless scarlet woman who started playing a violin made of human bones, the strings and stick made of human hair. I don't know why, but I started feeling sad for her. Her movements seemed disjointed, and there was something off about her. It looked like she didn't want to be here, like she was trapped in someone else's flesh and muscles. But the music turned my mind into something that I'll never want to see ever again. The notes morphed inside my head into desperate screams, echoing into oblivion, as I started having visions of a woman who was burning inside a concert hall, screaming for help, but playing the violin nonetheless, not stopping the concert even if she was dying. Then I heard a phone ringing. It was the kid's. She stopped playing and went to the kid, who became unable to move. Tears of blood started flowing from his eyes, and as she kissed her finger and gently pressed it on the kid's lips, she then pinched the skin on the center of his forehead, and like through magic, she ripped all of his skin and started eating it. That poor guy was still alive, and he was watching as she was devouring what once was a part of his body. She then repeated the procedure with his flesh, leaving that kid only a skeleton. The military lady and I stood motionless in horror and watched this grandiose violin concert resuming, one that became a feast for the skinless Scarlet Woman. Then she continued her concert, and music began slashing and screaming and creeping in my skin as I felt a strange tickling sensation that went up to the base of my skull. Then I felt I was tied to that chair, and the music became so sad that I too started crying. I started seeing strange shapes and colors. I was having visions of a place that seemed to be far away, desolate, and deserted. A realm filled with the music of the dead, where skinless people were roaming free in those arid lands, seemingly heading to nowhere. Of course, I didn't understand any of it, and why this was happening to me. I felt like this was some sort of hell, made exclusively out of people who had no skin on them. Were they some sort of distant relatives of ours? Were they angels or demons? Nephilims? I honestly can't tell you what they were, but I felt like it was very real, in the sense that it existed 100%. As I came back to my senses, the skinless Scarlet Woman who played the violin finally finished her concert. She took a bow, and the military lady and I stood up and gave her one big round of applause, but we never stopped crying. I honestly can't tell you why I was crying, but what I can tell you is that it wasn't out of fear. It felt like that music I heard made us feel that way, but what I felt was alien because it was a whole new emotion for me. Then I felt a sharp pain on my left arm, and when I looked I saw that a piece of my skin was missing, and a bloodied 2-inch diameter circle appeared near the upper part of my forearm. She probably didn't want to kill me too, because she already ate that kid. But she did want to take a souvenir. As she finally left the stage, Mr. Tanaka emerged from the side clapping. "Ha! What a beautiful violin concert." Miss Scarlet always fascinates us with her unique style that allows her to create a distant world through her music. Wonderful, wonderful. Yikes, that poor kid. Well, they told you to turn off your phones, didn't they? Sylvie, thanks for being my observer until now. I'd say that this young man standing here in front of us acted in such a great way that we could give him the prize now, don't you agree? He said, as I realized that Sylvie Deschamps was his liaison, his mole in this contest. Yes, we could, Mr. Tanaka, but he still has the last challenge he needs to complete. He was good until now. He is the only one left in the competition, but the hardest challenge is yet to come. Let's not hurry with assumptions, shall we? Another thing though, I just found out before coming here that someone has been interfering with the hotel's sound system, and that someone was the hacker kid. So even if he didn't die right now, he would have been disqualified, she replied to him, looking like she finally was at ease with the whole thing. They both wished me good luck as they left the scene and instructed me to go back to my room to rest properly for the final challenge. I must win this. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's what they say when you win something big, right? When you're so close to winning the goddamned grand prize, you start asking yourself, what are you going to do with all the money? Will you buy a new house, a new car, a small island in the Pacific Ocean where you're going to party for the rest of your life with beautiful ladies and expensive cocktails? But then again, will material wealth bring you happiness and peace of mind? Especially after knowing how'd you come up with that money? That blood money. You had to kill people, beings, or whatever it was, just so you can win it. I asked myself these questions, but the thing that I wanted the most was to make it out alive from there. I mean, I would have given that money away just to make sure that I'll go back to my shitty job and apartment in one piece. Back to the fucking fuss and the stupid people always asking me, "Hey Ben, how was your weekend?" Or, "Hey Benny, Have you seen the new TV series that's airing right now on the TV where they make people kill each other for $1 million? Or, Ben, you son of a gun, you won that shit, didn't you? You won $1 million, my man. You killed those freaks and got away, and you're a millionaire now. I legit thought that if I'll ever go back there, they'll ask me a whole bunch of stupid questions, because I remember Tanaka saying that this show will be broadcasted on the TV. But how could it air with all the violence and all the killing? With all these crazy things going on inside this cursed hotel? Would the people at home watch it and cheer when seeing violence, blood, and people killing each other like it was some kind of sick fucking joke? All for $1 million. After surviving the violin concert, I went back to my room and slept for almost 5 hours straight, up until the point I was awakened by some strange barkings I heard in the distance of the hallway outside my room. Although at times muffled, it still was one of the most horrific sounds I've ever heard. The barkings then turned into howlings, and it seemed that they were getting closer and closer to my door. It reached the door of my room, and whatever was out there started scratching it rapidly. Then it started banging on my door, and I heard a voice from the other side of the door. I'll be waiting for you up there, up on the 6th floor. I'm starting to get hungry again. You'll make a nice meal. I know you can hear me right now, but you don't have to say anything. Enjoy your final hours of sleep. Then you'll get to sleep forever. It whispered with a raspy voice, making me understand that I was talking to whatever the hell was waiting for me on my last challenge. Why was it here though? Did that thing want to personally come near me before the final confrontation just to scare me? Or was it scared of me killing it as I did with the rest of them? I decided that I'll worry about it in the morning because I needed to get my strength back up for the end that was to come. It was a matter of only whose end, mine or that thing. I woke up in the morning. I was feeling really good, yet anxious. I ate some fruits and a bunch of vegan dishes. Then I got out of the room and headed to the elevator. The message on top of the elevator doors now said, "Welcome to the final challenge. We wish you good luck." I thought it to be a bland message for a man who endured so much and risked his goddamn life for a petty prize. At this point, I just wanted to be over. I pressed the 6th button, and the elevator started ascending. With each passing floor, I was having flashbacks of my life. As uninteresting as it was, I still had them. I think I was afraid of dying, yet my will to stay alive grew even stronger. I knew I had to kill whatever the fuck was guarding the last floor. As the doors slid open, I saw a maze in front of me. A maze made out of barbed wire with shiny white and red arrows pointing to different directions, and liquids dripping from them. Fucking gross. I started hearing a voice in the speakers. I very well knew this was the real deal now because the hacker kid was dead and gone. I hope you won't die on us now, Mr. Richardson. That would be such a pity. Let me introduce you to our very own, amazing, beautiful, and skilled elite hunter, Little Hell, the guardian of Hotel Zenith. Wonderful. All you have to do is run as fast as you can until you see the exit sign where I'll be waiting for you with the grand prize. Best of luck. Tanaka said enthusiastically from wherever he was at that time. Then it began. The howling, the barking, and an evil laugh were resounding through the maze. I decided that I would run towards the path with the white arrow, simply because red was the color of blood, and I was sick seeing so much blood in such a short time. I started running like crazy, and I felt a sort of creature taking shape out of nowhere behind me. I turned and I saw the horror following me. It was some sort of a dog. All its legs were made out of metal. It had long, sharp, bony teeth with spit dripping down on the ground, and it only had one red eye that looked like it was enraged with hunger. It started stampeding towards me, and as I ran and ran, as fast as I could have, I heard the dog from hell saying, "I'll get you, human. I can't wait to eat your flesh and drink your blood." As he was howling, barking, growling, and speaking, all at the same time, he charged towards me, took a leap, and he scratched my right leg with his metallic paw. I let out a scream. I tripped. Then I rapidly got back up, and to my surprise, I wasn't limping. I looked back, and the dog was gone. Was it playing with its prey? I remembered I had the shard of glass in my pocket. I took it out and squeezed in my hand in fear that I almost cut the inside of my palm. I took some left and right turns, and when I looked back, little hell wasn't there anymore. I saw a block of barbed wire, so I decided to take shelter there and evaluate my options. I ran for at least 10-15 minutes, and I felt like the end of me was getting nearer. What if I tried to trick the dog? It only had one eye, so if I tried to stick the glass in his eye, that would be it. He couldn't see me anymore. Of course, he could have smelled me, but it would have been a whole lot easier to get to the exit, wherever that exit may have been. I took out some barbed wire, and while having the shirt wrapped around my hand, I bent until it looked like it could hold my shirt, so it can resemble a human body. I then placed the shirt, my pants, and shoes onto that barbed wire. It looked like a bad attempt of making a scarecrow. Talking about blood, I decided I would cut my hand and splash my clothes with it. Maybe I'd lure that fucking dog there. I did so. I let out a huge scream and kept hiding behind that barbed wire block. I heard the beast coming, laughing mockingly, asking me if I was all right. I peeked and I saw it as it said, "There you are, my main course, come here," as it was charging towards the fake me. He started chewing on my clothes and got itself entangled in barbed wire. I came out of hiding and went straight to him. "Here, little doggy, take this, you little shit," I said as I stabbed its eye with the glass shard. I then took it out of its eye and slashed its throat. It let out a huge scream and started rubbing itself on the barbed wire, eventually getting stuck. I took my ripped clothes and shoes, dressed up, and resumed running. After taking I don't know how many turns of direction, I finally came to the exit sign where I saw an intercom. I pressed the button and a voice on the other side said, "Yes," to which I replied, "Tanaka, I won your game. I've beaten all the challenges. Open up and give me the money. I want to go home." I was panting, breathing heavily, and in so much mental stress and physical pain that the thought of going home seemed the best thing then. Yeah, my shitty home. At least I had a bed to sleep in every night. Fucking hell. Tanaka opened. "You're alive, I see. Very good. Here's your prize, Ben," he said, as he handed me the prize. "Thanks, I guess. I wouldn't do it again." "Fuck's sake," I said while opening the briefcase and seeing the money inside. "All right, can I go now?" I asked him. "Just a moment. Where's little hell?" he asked me concerned. "Really, Tanaka? Really? I don't fucking know." After I stabbed its eye and slashed its throat, I fucking ran like crazy, I replied, visibly irritated. "You fucking what? You stabbed my dog in the eye and slashed its throat? Are you insane?" He burst out in anger. "What the hell did I tell you? Did I tell you that you can hurt or kill it?" "No, I didn't. I only said you should run as fast as you can," he said. "Well, I had to do it or else it would have killed me," I exclaimed in utter disgust. Then Tanaka rubbed his chin, thought about the situation for a minute, and said, "I can't allow this. Even if you were absolutely spot on with everything, you followed all the rules, you killed my dog. That's a no-no. Nobody kills my fucking dog. You didn't pay attention to what I've said, and there are consequences for that, Ben. Don't worry, I will not kill you. I'll even let you keep the money. You can spend it any way you see fit. Booze, drugs, hookers, I don't give a shit about your earthly sins," looking me straight in the eyes. "I need a new right hand now. I choose you. If you refuse, I'll kill you. I need someone to help me with the hotel, and maybe with the next edition of this contest. You'll get good pay. It's gonna be like a normal job, except your boss won't be a scumbag. You start 1 week from now. I will send the driver to get you," he concluded. I got out of the hotel, and I saw the same driver waiting for me outside. I handed him $1,000 to push the pedal to the metal. As I looked back, Hotel Zenith was gone, like it didn't even exist. I guess I'll start a new job 1 week from now, wherever that job may be, alive and kicking.